Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Plan Commission ARB for February 2nd. If you have any electronic gadgets, please silence them at this time. And before we start, we'd like to introduce Blair Queskin. She's our new appointee to the Plan Commission ARB, and good to see you. Ryan?
Steve Lichtenfeld.
Here.
Helen DeFate.
Here.
Susan Buse.
Here.
Jim Arsenault.
Here.
Chris Brennan.
Here.
Blair Queskin.
Here.
We have minutes from the previous meeting on January 20th. Are there any changes? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, we have an open forum where anyone in the audience or online can address us with a question or comment on any topic not on tonight's agenda. So if there are any, hopefully you signed up on the sheet outside the door. And if so, were any turned in? Then we will go forward. We will start with new business, and 500 South Hanley Road is our first item. Is the applicant here? We'll get started with the staff report.
An identical plat was approved by the Plan Commission back in October in conjunction with an architectural review application. The plat was not filed within the required time frame, and approval has since lapsed, and staff are recommending that the commission recommend approval to the City Council with the following conditions. One, that the applicant provide a Mylar for the appropriate City of Clayton signatures after City Council approval, and two, that the applicant file a plat with St. Louis County Recorder of Deeds office prior to application of any construction or demolition permits for the property.
Okay, thank you. The applicant, come on up, introduce yourself and add anything you'd like.
Good evening. I'm Gordon Spring, 500 South Hanley. I think Ryan's recap captured it. So new business of repeat of old business. We just couldn't get it submitted timely enough after coordinating with some lender signatures required on our side. So we'd ask for additional time to resubmit.
Okay. You understand and do you agree with the two staff recommendations?
Submission of the Mylar. Sorry, could you repeat those for me one more time? Submission of the Mylar I know about and I certainly agree with.
Right. Yeah, the Mylar and then submit it to the County Recorder of Deeds.
Yes, no problem.
Okay. I have no questions. Helen?
No questions.
Susan?
Nothing.
Jim?
No questions.
Chris?
Good to see you. No questions.
Blair?
Questions?
Okay, do we have a motion? Oh, are there any comments from the audience? No? Okay.
I move to recommend approval to the City Council with the two conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number two, which is 8032 Venetian Drive. Is the applicant here? Okay, we'll start with the staff report.
The property is located on the south side of Venetian between South Brentwood and South Merrimack. The property is zoned R2 and is developed with a single-family house. The applicant is seeking approval for a retaining wall that will span the front and rear yards on the south side of the lot. The wall material is a modular block mimicking cut limestone. The wall will have a consistent color and straight edges. The architectural review guidelines require that modular block walls located in front yards include varying block sizes, color patterns, and tumbled or rolled edges. The proposed material does not meet these requirements and therefore requires a review by the Architectural Review Board. Retaining walls nearby comprise a variety of materials, including limestone, which is also present on the subject property. Staff are of the opinion that the retaining wall material will have a minimal visual impact and recommend approval as submitted.
Okay, the applicant.
Yes, thank you. My name is Carrie Witter. I'm a 20-year resident of Clayton. And we believe that the blocks that are here, there's actually two colors represented there. The top one is the one we're not going to use. It's too light. The one on the bottom is closer to limestone. Yep, thank you for bringing that up. And we're looking for the approval of using these blocks on this property. We believe that the architectural style of these blocks is consistent with the property.
Anything else?
Nope, this is $100,000 retaining wall that'll help reinforce the property over the long term on a $1 million property. So we think it'll add to the beauty of the neighborhood and to the property itself.
Okay, well, I'm sure we have a few questions. The first one, I think we saw a site plan, Ryan, because there was not one in our packet.
It was provided to you in your electronic packet.
Didn't even open that. Okay, so here we see it. North is to our left, and the wall starts at the sidewalk property line. Is that correct?
Yes,
And it goes along the western boundary to a point?
that's right. Goes from the front to the back of the property,
And
western side.
how close is it to your western property line?
It's just set back from the property line according to recommended procedure. I think it's about 6 inches or maybe a foot, something like that.
Are you regrading the land just to the east of the wall?
Not significantly.
Was there runoff to the neighbor to the west?
There is currently, the water flows from our property onto the neighbors to the west. It does, flows downhill. And this proposed wall doesn't change the hydrological features of the property.
Have the neighbors to the west been involved in this?
Yes, I've reviewed these plans with the neighbors to the west and to the east. But
To the
more,
east.
and to the east, yes, both neighbors, both sides of my property. But yes, the plans have been reviewed with the neighbor to the east.
But they're not affected on the
Not-
east.
They're not affected in what way, sir?
Well, if we're looking at the drawings correctly,
Correct.
the retaining walls are all on the west.
West side, that's right.
Okay. Were notifications sent out to neighbors? Okay, we didn't have it marked on the report. Okay, well, first I'd like everyone to talk about the siting and the wall before we get into the material.
Okay.
So, Helen?
Is there planting on the area where you have two walls shown parallel to one another?
Yes, in the rear of the property,
Yeah.
yes, there is planting planned for that area when it's built.
How will those plants be maintained, from the west or from the east side?
They can be, the anticipated height of those plants is such that they can be maintained from the east side, meaning our property.
Okay.
Although, and there is a small area, even stepping on the ledge itself will give enough access for the lower wall, from the lower wall to maintain the few plants. It's a narrow space in between the two walls. Don't recall.
Also planning to.
Please come up. We need a recording.
I
We are also planning on those plants to not need that much maintenance. So we're picking plants that are going to stay quite narrow, but also give a little bit of height to kind of screen it off for the neighbors.
Okay, and could you give us your name?
Rhiannon Pritchard. I'm with Quiet Village Landscaping.
No, that's so that you can maintain them from your side in the event that the adjacent property owner to the west wants to put up a fence.
There is actually an existing fence that's there that we aren't going to be touching.
Okay, how far back are these walls from your property line?
I believe they are. I believe they are at least, enough feet for us to be able to get down there with a small track. We're going to be doing, I think it's about a 2-foot track to be able to go down to the end there to put in this retaining wall. And so they should be at least, I believe, 2 feet, at least from the existing wood fence on the neighbor's property line.
Okay, this on the drawing, it's very difficult to tell where the property line is. And the line that runs parallel to the walls is 9 inches off the face of the wall. Is that the property line?
Yeah. Property, the wall is set back from property line by 9 inches as drawn there.
And is that the base of the wall or is that the top?
The way that the retaining wall is built is to be as vertical as possible and not have all of the setbacks. It uses a pin system for engineering to be able to hold the weight of, to actually retain the land behind it. And so we're trying to get as vertical as possible without having all of the setbacks. So it would be minimally, I believe, maybe from the line, it would be probably about 6 inches, 6 inches different from the top of the wall to the bottom of the wall.
Okay, the area that doesn't have those 2 long walls, is that grade, does that grade meet the adjacent grade on the other property?
It does.
Okay,
Discussed with the neighbor project itself and that there why were you choosing these blocks? Because it matches the line.
okay, nothing further.
Susan?
Hey, thanks for coming. The only question I have, which I think you addressed, will this have any effect on the stormwater or the runoff onto your neighboring property? Does it diminish it maybe, or does it?
I'm hoping
Or no?
it will diminish it because we have enough drainage that's going to be built behind these retaining walls. Currently, the water runs off down a hill of ivy into the property, and you can where the water has eroded in certain places. It's actually making the ground on the neighbor's property really soggy to walk through, and she's having a lot of issues with her fertilization and everything. And so what we're hoping to do is divert the water away from her property, so we won't have those kinds of issues.
Okay, thank you.
Jim?
If we're discussing, I guess, location at this point, how much I had a little bit of trouble telling how much of this will be seen from the front yard. I can see like at the front, it looks like there's just a kind of small amount that kind of like jogs into the front. The vast majority is on the side, but then further back, where I guess it's the stairs, it's
This is just a visual representation. If this is helpful, this is from, if you were standing on the street, this is kind of what you would see down. So it's much lower in the front. And the taller parts of it, the way that the house is pretty, it's going to be taller towards the back, but there's already a fence from the neighbors that's going to kind of hide that. The majority of this is going to be giving a place that we can actually put in some taller plantings. And so that can kind of start to screen off their property, and so that they have a nice and sort of enclosed backyard. We're thinking much more on the case of, we want them to be able to enjoy their backyard and feel like they have a space of their own, instead of everybody else on the street looking up into their property.
the front dimension. So that front part of the wall, how long is that front part of the wall?
It's going to, the one that's along the sidewalk.
It's a long Venetian.
Is
I'm talking about like the length along Venetian, like how far along yes, the section that the cursor's over, how long, because I don't see a dimension on there.
I think we estimated that it would be about.
So is just this dark part where the new wall is going? But you're saying that front part there is 10 feet long? It just by the plan, it looks a lot shorter than that. Yes, and this, which,
Show it dying into the grade.
that's just a visual, just for you guys to kind of.
okay, yeah, you'll have to forgive me, this wasn't in our packet, so this yellow dashed line that's on this visual, what does that represent?
Yeah.
Okay, because it would, if that's the property line in this case, it looks like it would go over the property line.
This was just a visual to have a look and see what the, how the wall block. Just so you can see the coloring in it.
I can say I do have some concerns because it on the one piece that we were given here, it says plotted from available records, so there doesn't look like there was any sort of site measurements taken, and with it being so close to the property line, if we're talking like, literal inches from the property line, that worries me a little bit that there wasn't a survey done and it's just kind of taken from records, because then if you go out in the field, it could be even a foot in one direction could make a pretty big difference there. And it's,
I discussed it with my neighbor where the two of us.
yeah, I would say the concern would be from having to approve it on this end, though. As far as seeing measurements of this wall and kind of like how it goes and the representations of it, it just gives me a little bit of pause that, not have worried and might not have like the full picture today. But that's all I have for right now.
Chris?
I'm curious to know what other materials you had considered apart from this limestone.
A lot of them, the normal open, or what do you call it, broken?
Split face.
Split face, thank you. Finding these blocks like this, so we would. I've encouraged the vegetation. Arrow tie, that they had there, it's not appropriate for this. That's one also that we, one final thing, just leaving it as it is, it's difficult to maintain. It's enough. Example, one of my kids was out there mowing the lawn and she slipped while she was mowing the lawn and I saw her. And that moment, it's like, okay, I'm changing this. That's why I'm here.
Mower goes that way, toe goes that way. You don't want that.
Yeah, just, not do it. Enough of a slope, she's trying to mow the lawn.
Is the idea, you had mentioned putting new plantings behind that wall, which of course, isn't shown on that rendering, and I understand bringing in that one there, but I can envision a little bit that it would look neat with some plantings there. And if I understand correctly, you're thinking of planting that behind really to screen both from the neighbors, both from the front and the back. So along that section that dies into the yard in the front, there might be some plantings as well behind there.
There's going to be, we're actually trying to save as much of it as we can. There's existing liriope there. We're actually going to take all of that liriope and plant it up, remove it while the retaining wall is going in and reuse that same planting material. Probably at our office for a little while. Back in.
Is there anything of height that you're doing apart from the liriope that would be? Okay. Okay.
Be like the big. All fit with the house and we want vegetation.
We have a really beautiful layer.
So it's more both a safety concern and a privacy. So, I mean, your end purpose really is to provide a little bit more of a private environment, but also one that's a little bit more
Property.
stabilized like that. No further questions from me? Thank you.
Claire?
Hi, forgive me because it's my first time here. So I just have a couple questions. So where you're showing what I believe is the new and the old, at the end of that old, is that where it currently returns back into the side of the house? Or is that not new and old? Right where it says the 9 inches up over there?
These are all going to be new.
The front.
These are all new. In the front area right now, there is an edging that's a little bit further up on the side of the hill. Currently, there's it's a relatively decent sized hill and it's covered in liriope.
Yeah.
So is this, oops. So this wall right here,
Mhm.
where's the wall is coming out to here now?
It is coming.
But it'll
Side
die,
there.
it'll return back there, right?
Mhm.
Not up here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
then when you, cause you're raised up. And so where's the greenery going that is, you were saying to sort of, your neighbors aren't looking?
That'll go
Up?
in the, there's at the back of the retaining.
There you go.
At the back of the retaining wall, there's a 2-tier wall.
Yes, I
On the
saw-
plan. It'll go in between there and that's to give some height at the back.
But so the wall between the two houses, basically between the two houses is just gonna be a limestone wall.
It'll be a wall and then.
No greenery
there's
on
a
the other
second-
side.
And then a greenery and then a second
Wall.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
So like backyard, it becomes tiered.
On your side? Yes, understood. Okay.
Anything else, Blair?
No, thank you. That's it.
In this rendering, will the Liriope steep slope be raised to, within a couple inches of the top of the wall?
I expect there to be a little bit of settling, but the main focus is to still keep that Liriope because that doesn't need to be maintained. But it'll still give that a little bit of height behind that wall to give it
Texture.
a texture.
I would assume it would not be as steep as we see it on the screen.
With the wall, no, because you are moving that height up a little bit as far as the wall is concerned. So it's not going to be as steep, but you will still see a little bit of a hill.
Okay, but you're saying that's 10 feet? No, I'm saying like, it seems like less, it seems like it's rendered way, if you go back to the plans, where 11 feet is, but we're in the front, if you look over, now if you go over, so there's the 9-inch marker here, and then after that, it shows 11 feet and it's a line way back there. So this front part's nowhere even close to, it's more like a foot, 2 feet or something like that.
Not what we're gonna build.
Okay, well, so if the plan, so the plans on the screen are not what you plan on building?
There's a couple of small things, Jim, yeah, talk about tonight, or we can revise.
Okay, do you have a planting schedule also along with this? Like you've kind of talked about some of the planting, but like what's gonna,
We have not planned a schedule yet. As of right now, our main focus was getting the wall. Then we can go back and see what is going to look best where. The plant designer that we're planning to use, and see how they're gonna look overall.
thank you.
On this rendering, there appear to be little drainage holes, which sort of indicate that on the back side is where the level of the ground will be. Are we going to see that in reality?
That is just a visual represent. It's just to give you guys specifically to see the color, because we were only coming here to talk about the color of the block today. It's just to look at the color of the block and the house behind with the limestone around the.
We understand your point of view, but we're here to look at the entire project, not just the block itself.
Yeah, Steve, I'll provide a little context to that. They originally applied for a building permit and met the architectural review guidelines for material types. They had a slightly different stone chosen. So they were issued a building permit. They since then have switched to this stone material, which is what didn't directly conform with the material requirements, which is why they're here today. And they were here prepared to talk about the material because the rest of this that fell under the building permit for the retaining wall was already issued to them.
Otherwise, I would have brought an engineer.
Thank you for the clarification. We had no idea they already had a permit. Okay. Well, then let's move on to the material. I think I guess if you could bring it over, then the camera will catch it for everyone online as well as here.
No, this is, we specifically picked the top
Yeah,
because it
put
would
it on
give us
here.
a beautiful, smooth finish on front end. this needs to be enjoyed by the neighbors, so, the client. And so it's very rare that you really love me. And it'll look beautiful if you're on the property or if you're working.
We're accustomed to so much limestone in the area that's more rough cut. But this does match the limestone around the front door and the window heads. Just curious, but the footing under it, how deep will that be?
I think I have some plans in here.
Manufacturer's recommendation.
Yeah, it's going, we've already talked to county materials. And I think even county materials, because this is such a big wall, they will probably be coming out on site to have a look. So everything is going to be to manufacturer's recommendations. And we've already chatted with them, and the engineer that designed the wall as well has spoken with the manufacturers to make sure that we are doing everything to spec.
The typical wall B section that we see, it shows the blocks stepping back just very slightly. So we would really not see that.
My hope is that we are not going a little bit of there, just to make sure that you
don't have overturn. Yeah. Other question, Susan?
I just have one thing. It's actually not on the stone. This may already be decided, the building permit, but the lawyer, and he's making me say this, building a permanent wall that close to the property line without a survey, that, I don't know, and Clayton has had adverse possession conflicts and things like that in the past, and they're not pretty. So if you all confident in that property line and that's been looked at. I thought we just said.
That's what your plans say.
Right. I thought I heard that tonight, and if I didn't, I'm thrilled. That's great. Yeah, you know where the property lines are clearly. Great. I take it back then. I misunderstood something said earlier. Perfect. Thank you.
Other comments? Jim?
Anna, just to make sure I'm 100%. So if this wall had a regular block, a regular shaped blocks, or if it had a rough cut finish, we wouldn't have even seen it. The only reason it's here is because of the flat face. So basically, like, if we're okay with the flat face, the city has okayed every other aspect of this. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the material guidelines require bricks with multiple sizes and rough tumbled edges. That's what this stone does not meet. But all of the other, the engineering, the setbacks, the construction, that side of it's all been reviewed, or the process will be reviewed for this amendment for their new engineering. But yeah, by the building division.
Okay. Well, I apologize also for some of my extra questions then, trying to, a lot of these things, I feel like we have positions, we try and back up those positions, and I don't think all of us fully understood exactly what we were considering. So thank you, Anna, for clarifying that.
Any other comments? Any comments from the audience? Or any hands up? Okay. Oh, come on up.
Sally Cohn. having not seen this, how tall is the wall? At the, at the front
in the
and going,
front.
yeah.
It'll be 18 inches in the front here.
And does it come across by the sidewalk? So
It-
there's no longer this area of monkey grass?
There will be a little bit of monkey grass behind the wall.
So
But
the
the wall
wall is going to
will
be
come
right up to this. Well, that's the first issue I would have a problem with, would be no setback from the sidewalk. I find that very confining. This is a pedestrian area, and I would hope that you would set it back some. I don't know if you're allowed to re-vote on that, but we don't put fences up, or we shouldn't put fences up right on the sidewalks. There should be some pedestrian, and put the monkey grass at the edge and then start your wall. And how tall is it all the way back there?
I believe it's 4 feet.
The tall,
Oh, which one?
either of them.
It depends. So you'll see over here, this is a side plan, so.
So
you
this
can
is the
see-
sidewalk here?
Yep, and then
Okay.
it'll come all the way back here.
And at this point, it's how tall?
It is ish.
Okay.
Right.
So it says right here, bottom of the wall would be at 540 and the top of the wall 543. So at this corner, it would be a 3 foot tall. And then going up to 18 inches at this point.
Okay, and here?
It is, I believe, right at 3 foot for most of this stretch. And then the secondary wall is 3. now.
Okay.
So, and then there would be planting in between here that would pretty
Okay.
much screen that
So-
secondary wall.
So the reason I was asking is, as people are walking on the sidewalk, this is very visible here, and it felt so fortress-like,
See, so like,
especially with all the same size.
yeah, like right here, about halfway down the wall, it's showing bottom of the wall, top of the wall. So that's only a foot difference. So you'd only see
And it's, you said 3 feet about?
at back here where it's
And
marked.
less here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it
Okay.
start 3 foot at the tallest in this corner, and then it works
Okay.
its way with the grade up to the sidewalk at the front of the property.
Okay. Well, I would back it off from the sidewalk, and there will be, that's a pretty good hill. There will be, anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Well, from that last comment, the way I understand it, the building permit has already been issued.
The building permit was issued using the different stone that complied with the architecture review guidelines. Building permit wasn't required when it met that because the height in the front yard is less than there. So basically, when we adopted those architecture review guidelines, we said if the buildings meet these material standards and this height, then it's eligible for administrative approval. So that's what happened. Then they have slightly changed the materials. So the materials were no longer under the administrative approval option. So that's why it came here. So there is a building permit that's been issued using the other stone. The amendment process has not been approved yet because we sent the materials to you all.
There were, Chris, did you have a?
Just one further question, just in regards to choosing this material, was it more from an aesthetic reason? Was it more from a cost reason that you've chosen to go away from the 3 different style of stones and then tumbled rock?
Actually going to with it.
Well, seeing, I just have a final comment. The leveling out of your front yard that you did several years ago, I thought was beautiful. And I've always felt that that slope up was pretty steep, but I think it accentuated your house very well. I think this will actually help it in the long run because that I could see the water coming down into the neighbor's yard and developing gullies. So if everything works well, I think it should really be a very good addition.
Difficulty that we have with,
Any further comment on the limestone? And if we understand, this limestone is the block. Is it the same color top? Yeah. Okay. Not what we see over there.
Snow, and it looked like the same color when it was soaking wet this morning. It has since dried in the back of our truck and it was a lighter color. So that is the shape. It's just, it will match the color of the wall.
Yeah. We have a staff recommendation to approve as submitted.
I move to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thanks for coming and showing it to us. Okay. Now we'll move on to items 3, 4, and 5, which are 121 South Merrimack. I see the applicants are here, and we'll, of course, get started with the staff report.
Site is located on the northwest corner of South Merrimack and Bonham and is zoned M3. The project will see the renovation of an existing building into a mixed-use residential and commercial structure. The renovation would be accompanied by the relocation of an adjacent alley, which will be discussed further under the plat application. The proposal introduces additional residential density to downtown, which is aligned with the intent of the M3 district and comprehensive plan. Much of the site configuration would remain consistent aside from the relocation of utility infrastructure. New streetscape would be installed, and Public Works recommended right-in, right-out only vehicle movements at the garage's entrance to address site visibility concerns. Parking would be accompanied via 96 on-site spaces and 80 spaces via the adjacent owned garage. I'll point out that there was an error at the beginning of your staff report that showed a higher number, but I just want to confirm that is planned to be about 80 spaces in the adjacent garage. And the parking agreement for this adjacent garage will require city council approval. The proposal includes a request for alternative compliance to allow office uses to occupy the commercial space. Staff are of the opinion that the constraints of the existing site and financing structure limit the applicant's flexibility for programming the site. The staff are of the opinion the proposal would meet the standard for alternative compliance, provided that the commercial units were occupied within a reasonable time, that both commercial units had a primary entrance on the building exterior, and that both units incorporated signage. Staff recommending approval with the following conditions. 1, that the streetscape plan to be approved by Public Works prior to commencing installation activities. 2, impacts of sidewalk closures and temporary pedestrian path requirements shall be evaluated by Public Works prior to the issuance of a building permit. 3, vehicle access to the podium garage levels shall be limited to right-in, right-out only per the recommendation of Public Works. 4, occupancy of the commercial tenant spaces shall be achieved within 6 months of approval of a residential occupancy for the development. 5, both commercial tenant spaces shall have primary entrances facing the building exterior. 6, both commercial spaces shall install signage compliant with Chapter 425 minimum of 1 month after commercial occupancy. And at 7, a parking agreement to provide access to a minimum of 80 spaces located within 500 feet walking distance of the property shall be maintained for the life of the project. I will note that you do have condition 8 that references bicycle parking. The applicants have since provided updated plans that show interior bicycle parking that meets the requirements. So condition 8 is no longer necessary.
Thank you. And this will be site plan review. So who's going to speak? Of course.
Chris Green, architect, Kent Wangster, architect, HDA. So we'll go through, we'll just use your plans, right? Should we just use these? Yeah, let's just use yours. So. Okay.
Oh, there
All right.
Okay.
So we'll get started just to move things along. So here we have the site plan that is exactly what's existing right now. Everything you see, with the exception of the new sidewalks and the tree plantings, is all going to be new, but everything else is existing. We've added a lot of landscaping, which we can show you. We're keeping the historic tax credits that we've been approved to receive, which really allow this project to move forward and to be financeable. both from a construction loan standpoint, long-term financing. Everything has to remain exactly as it exists on what's called the day of existence or when they set it. So we can't change the exterior of the building. We can't change the color of anything. We can't change the window frames. We can't change, if we replace anything, it has to match exactly what was there. So any sort of alterations on the podium or on the building, unless they're for code, if they're a code-driven reason, we cannot make any changes to the building to again, be able to get approved for the historic tax credits. So the only thing that excuse me, that we're doing, and it doesn't really show, but if you can show where the handicap ramp is being added.
At this location, we're adding an ADA ramp. Like the existing.
Yep.
So let me. Kind of
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
location here is where we're coming up with the ADA ramp up to there. And then it also shows that we shifted the alley for our discussions.
So the reason we had to shift the alley is because of the utilities, Ameren and American Water, they have new requirements for how their transformers, their gear. Because we're a high rise, we have to have a generator, standby generator. And then American Water has a water vault. That's a huge water vault. It's like 16 feet long and 8 feet wide, and it's about 4.5 feet deep. So that cannot go in the building, and we don't have any place on the site that isn't covered by the podium or the building. So here you start to see the red elements are the electrical, the transformers, the switchgear, the generator. And that blue element right there is where the vault, water vault is. On the south side of the building, we have planters, existing planters that are planted with plant material, but there's also an existing, the transformers and the switchgear are located where that blue square is. That blue square now is really where we're going to bring their secondary source of water in from a fire standpoint. So those are really the only changes that are being made to the site around the building. We're cleaning, we're upgrading, we're adding planting. Anything that we add that's considered temporary, that could be removed in the future, we can do, and that meets the National Park Service's requirements for historic tax credits. But if we lock it in and cast concrete or build something in, that's not considered removable. So we've added a lot of planters. They're all removable. All the benches, anything else, the pavilions, the elements we've added just to enhance the plaza area and for the occupants, but also I think for the community by adding a lot of the planting that we're doing on the plaza enhances the pedestrian experience. But again, they all can be removed in the future. I think from the standpoint of the site, do we want to talk about the planting? The landscaping?
Well, it's certainly part of the site plan, so
Right.
I would think go ahead with it.
Then we will. Those are all the city requirements for the public realm that have shown on the civil drawings. Okay, here we go with the landscaping. So everything that is, I'm going to start on the south side of the building. We have two ingress and egress points for the parking. They're distinct and separate from one another. So the one that's closest to Merrimack, it serves only 33 cars, 33 parking spaces on that level. The one that's further to the west serves the other 65 or so spaces. Those are connected to several levels below. There's 4 levels that are either below grade or semi below grade that a lot of people, I didn't know that. And until we went into the building and really understood it, but you don't see that from the public realm. But they have very low ceilings. There's issues with them from a life safety standpoint for some structural reasons. So we're going to mothball those and not use that parking. So that's why we've got the 93 spaces in this building. And then we have our bridge connection to the adjacent parking structure where there's another 80 spaces that'll be available. So the planting, and I want to be able to, on the right in, right out, I thought that was for just the easternmost ingress egress point, not the southern one. So we just need to clarify that. You can see the planting that's been incorporated into not only the public realm, but the planters along the south side of the building. And then what our landscape architects calls the pork chop planters, those are existing. And so those are the most elevated above the plaza, those planted areas are. And they'll be done with a lot of colored landscape and shrubbery and flowers that are intended to be different colors throughout the seasons. We've also added those dark strips. Those are what are considered temporary planters. And so because there's so much concrete, both vertically and horizontally that you see from the public realm, we've added those. There's lighting in those, but those will have plantings with flowers as well. And then there's a strip, a thin strip between the podium wall and the sidewalk right there that gets planted as well. So there'll be a lot of planted. There's a lot of drip irrigation to take care of all of that. They're all connected through the planters. So from an irrigation standpoint and a maintenance standpoint, there'll be people out there obviously tending to all the shrubbery and all the planting. And then over on the alley, what we've done is we've created, because in the future, as we develop the parcel to the north, where we can build about another 50 to 60 units over there if we choose to go in the future with residential. But you can see kind of the textured area that's east of all the electrical equipment and all. And that's going to be a synthetic lawn that's for the pets in the future, having a pet park. Right now, the pet park, the green space to the north, the future parcel, is used currently as a dog park, but we'll have to, as that gets developed, we'll need to have the pet park there in that space in between the ramp and the property to the north. And since we're building over the water vault, they won't allow anything other than gravel or the synthetic turf. So that's from a site plan standpoint, the landscaping element. Do we have anything else here, Kent?
The existing planters will be repurposed and replanted as well up on the plaza. You can kind of see these little half moon spaces. Those are existing as well. They will be basically replanted.
I think the other thing you see there is the fountain. There's an existing fountain, and we're restoring that. We're talking to the Parks Department about how we might be able to convert that where people could actually use it. It's a conversation not only with the Parks Department or Park Service, but also with County Health and meeting all their requirements. But right now it's a fountain, and we're just looking at future options for how it can be an amenity for the residents of the building.
So will this podium level be open to the public?
You can see the area as you come in, the steps are all open to the public. And then these planters that we have kind of honor the entryway there. There's a gate, there's a fence to the left there that would separate. So everything to the right, to the north, has access to the public. Everything to the south would be limited access, primarily for the residents. We also will show on the architectural plans, we provided access from the exterior storefronts to the space that's in the northeast corner of the ground floor for these commercial uses that we'll talk about as we get into the interior uses of the ground floor.
Okay, so the entrance walk and the northern part of the podium is still public.
Correct.
What is this fence going to look like?
Because again, National Park Service requires everything to match what's there existing. It just has to, what's there now, doesn't meet code from a height standpoint, and from the newel posts or the verticals are too far apart. So we have to rebuild it all to match the existing look. And then this, if it's a fountain, it'll be a 4-foot fence that will, a gate with a gate.
Yeah, the existing fence basically picket and a square top rail. So that's what we have to go back in and match. Or Chris mentioned is historical preservation aspect. We have to meet that design. Just meeting the height requirements we need for the code.
But in the same location?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
But Steve, we have added, because of code, where we've added the planters, the linear planters, we have to have a guardrail there because we have quite a drop. And so it does not meet code currently, but when it was built, it did. But people can get up on those levels. It's easy to access those levels. And so we've got 42-inch guardrails all the way around the building that we've added.
Will it match the fence?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, they have to. They have to match what's there right now. And we got photos. I don't know where they are in this
It's
deck,
probably
but
on here.
we'll be able to see
Okay,
them.
you have, okay. Okay, here's all our architectural. I don't know if they big enough.
Okay, yeah, there you see the planters, the flowers behind them, the planting behind them, and then you see the fence that is right now, it's right at 36 and we're going to 40. Actually, we're going to go to 43 or 44. So that will match the profiles. Again, it's a flat bar plate on the top, and then pickets are also flat bar.
Now I understand the reason for this.
Yeah,
so,
well, when you're there over that, it's a 13, 15-foot drop.
Yeah. And
Right now it's only a 3-foot guardrail.
Yeah.
To the west, actually where the cursor kept moving.
I'm sorry, this way?
Yeah, right in there.
Yes.
What are those black frames?
Those are pavilions that we're adding that'll have barbecue, outdoor kitchen for the residents. So they're temporary, and they'd be like a Shade X, with a movable top for sun and rain and snow. So outdoor kitchens and dining areas.
Those are permitted by the NPS?
Yeah, because they're removable.
Okay. And that's all within the
Plaza area, the podium area. Yeah.
Let's go back to the alley.
Okay.
We don't really have a context plan of how the new alley meets the existing alley, which I believe goes all the way to Brentwood and also has
We have.
north. Oh, you have that?
Yeah.
This basically.
No, we have that in the rendering.
Oh, okay, good.
I think it'll help understand how much grade change there is, and it's really the last couple right here. So that, Steve, is the ADA ramp that's been added right there.
Yeah.
And
But not
then,
the alley.
yeah, the
No,
alley
the
would,
alley.
the alley then would be 20 feet from that. There's another 10 feet where the water vault's going to go. And then there's another 20 feet.
So let me roll back up to
Well,
that civil plan.
Right now, it's very steep.
Correct.
Going from
From Merrimack
down.
west. Correct.
So,
How does it meet the other alleys?
so the other alley is right here. You can see it basically identified as alley. So the existing alley sits here, so it connects here. So we're just basically pouring additional concrete over that additional dimension that Chris mentioned. And as you can kind of see the grade, it drops off about 24 feet from basically this top elevation down to here, which then this is all slab asphalt concrete. So it ties into this. So then you can go on this way, migrate north or continue to go west.
Well, now seeing this, I think it gets rid of my next question about the loading dock, because now you have a larger turnaround space than you do right now, which is extremely tight.
It gives you a little bit more space in here to maneuver any type of truck if you do come in here, if the truck can get over this hump due to the existing. But it will allow them to come in and back in or turn around within this proximity of this lot into here as well.
Okay. The remaining portion of that property is still under ownership by the development group?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
As we had looked some previous time when
Yeah.
you were looking at a PUD.
Right.
Is that really going to be buildable in the future?
Yeah, I actually laid out I've got a building laid out on it. So it's a 60-foot wide building. You know, we have, now this is all predicated on the alley when we build that. And as we talked in our last meeting about being able to vacate the alley at that point. So we would vacate the alley when that building gets built. If the valley, if for some reason the alley doesn't not get vacated, then that piece of land is pretty undevelopable.
Yeah, that's
your
where
point.
I was going. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's really not part of what we're looking at, but I thought I'd better ask. I've taken up enough time. Helen, you want to go ahead?
Okay, on the podium level, the fence that you have to separate private from public, as I come up the stairs from the sidewalk, I bump into that fence. Can that fence be curved, angled?
We could, I mean, again, everything's got to fit within the kind of geometry that the park that exists already today. Now, there isn't a fence there right now. We
Right.
could probably chamfer, we probably set it back and push it to the right slightly. There's about 10 feet between the top step and where that fence is right now.
It just,
There-
it's jarring, looking at it and thinking about if you're coming from the south, you know, I'm coming from the apartments diagonally across the street to visit, then I'm coming up those steps, and they're monumental steps. And there's a fence that's 43 inches or so in front of me. Could that just be, instead of a 90 degrees, curve it?
I wouldn't curve it, but I'd look at how we can create more space there to make it less jarring. So it's not so close.
Yeah, it just really looks like you said to a fencing contractor, put up a fence and, you know, they'll make it square. Curves, angles are more challenging, which, you know, the planting areas, the water feature, all have nice curves to them. And that just seems to be jarring. No, that's my only question.
Susan?
Yeah, first for clarification, can you show me where the bike racks are going? The bike racks, where are you?
Sure.
I missed that.
Just to the top of the handicap ramp. Um,
Well, that just told me then, I guess.
on a
That-
civil.
You know,
So
that's-
they are pretty accessible.
Six.
That's want to make sure they're
Yeah, they're-
accessible to
yeah,
people,
so-
yeah.
We'll show you.
All right, I'll just go this.
Getting sick.
I know, I am too. Oh, wait, I already am. But no, we basically have them
There you
up
see-
on.
Yeah, you see them right there.
You're right here, sorry, you can zoom in. I'll show
Oh, I
you
see
the
them now.
right-
That's good. Okay.
You can go in farther, but we have identified them at this location up on the plaza area as they can come up the ADA ramp and then they're along this north side of the facade of the building.
Right. I also had a question on the alternative compliance, looking at the initial uses, you know, it seemed to service primarily the building and that are they going to, you know, not being a developer myself, I don't know anything about this. For the future, will they be developed or will they be structured in a way that they can be amenable to becoming a coffee shop or something else? Will they have the infrastructure and all that?
Reviewed, if you will, in our alternative compliance, that initially the retail is so far away from the street. But just the retail up at the corner, that small little restaurant, that's just got boarded up. It's just really tough to have retail work currently, but to be able to have the flexibility and that red area that you see there, and that's not.
This is not, I have a more current one on this thumb drive. Well, this area.
So we have exterior entrances, storefronts to those. We got 2 spaces now. One is to be they will move their offices from West County into Clayton and put them in a will not only manage our building, they'll manage all the buildings that they operate in the area. So they will have a lot of outside traffic, you know, coming and activating the space to the north is about 500 square feet. Developer RCD is going to relocate offices from Kansas City. And he will do development out of that. So there'll be development business that'll be happening within that 500 square foot space. So the idea is they can be short-term or long-term as the market changes, just to be able for other uses to go in there, whether it's a wine bar, you know, a studio, artist studio, that kind of, because we've made it smaller as well, can be a little bit more, let's just say, acceptable to a destination-based type retail versus an impulse space, you know, where you've got to be on the street, you got to be able to see it, and you got to be able to park easily and get it. Really across Merrimack, it's kind of a pedestrian desert. If you think about it over there, it's all parking. There's no pedestrians. So it's really tough, even though we're a secondary street off of Bonham, to have retail work there right from the get-go. As we get this started, it's hard to find retail tenants that would even lease this space. So we can use it, we can activate it, and then we can make it flexible enough that it can be leased as retail space. Market conditions change, because they will. There's no question. As we get more residential downtown and more pedestrian activity, it definitely will happen. So having that flexibility is what we're proposing.
Great. And then the last issue I wanted to ask you about, way back when, I think we talked about 5 to 6 affordable housing units. And then I think in your application, was it 2? And where are we standing on that today?
Our goal is to have 3. We're working with 2B right now with the whole program on the 2 for sure. Our desire is to have 3 affordable units.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Jim?
A handful of my questions revolve around that retail space. So I guess I hate to ask you, but if you could plug that in and see the updated plan. So I guess while we're in the process, just to save time, you had mentioned earlier that like, oh, we can talk about the right in, right out for the two garages. So I guess it's probably important to talk about that. Like the option, I guess, from the city standpoint said to make both those garages right in, right out. It sounds like your preference might be to make the one closer to the corner right in, right out, and then not the other one.
Further west, there's more cars there. And really looking at the traffic, you know, and I think the report that was done earlier was about morning traffic. And I've been at the site a lot, and there just isn't, and they're thinking about the left-hand turn onto Merrimack going north. There just isn't that much traffic there. Now that all can change. And if we have to go right in, right out, then we have to. But I think practicality wise, definitely for the one that's furthest to the east, one that's west, there's just quite a bit more space there. And you don't have cars backing up on that left-hand turn lane.
But the 34 spots at the corner, you wouldn't have as much of a problem with that if that one was right in, right out, as long as the other one was.
It's a pretty quick, it's not the safest, I think, kind of turn conditions there anyhow.
So yeah, so if that difference was split, you'd be okay with that. Okay.
Assist, here's that plan of that, basically the eastern access end and the parking below that.
Hmm.
So, and wanted to kind of update, this is kind of how we divided and relocated the entry to the apartment on the backside of the corridor and created 2 additional spaces up here, as Chris mentioned, which has exterior access from the door.
Okay.
Are those larger than we had seen before?
No, they're still in that 1,150, 1,200 square foot total. The one that's nearest the lobby is 620, I think, or 640, and the other one's 500 square feet to the north. Plus they have the outdoor, you can have outdoor seating out in front of those, especially when if they do become something more food and beverage related.
So the staff report said, but as far as those 2 spaces, it said if each commercial unit is immediately occupied, has a separate exterior entrance serving as its primary entry, and is accompanied by signage, this configuration will likely generate the perception of activation. So I see 2 separate entrances. I assume everyone who's occupying it is part of this project, so I assume being open at the opening of the building shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
And then as far as the qualifiers that they have, both commercial units should be occupied within 6 months occupancy. I said that shouldn't be a problem. Exterior entrances and signage, you don't have a problem with any of that?
No, because signage is temporary too. The Parks Department with their Park Service lets you do that.
Yep. And I think as far as the uses of that office and the flexibility and everything, you answered everything I have with that. Let's see. Sorry, there's several pages in this packet. There's a lot of flipping around for ahead. I would assume also, I know phase 2 is hypothetical, but I know something that we discussed back in October is that obviously the density and stuff like that would make retail more of a possibility then. I know, there's a lot of things like an alley vacation and stuff like that, but I assume, especially if retail was foregone, the consumer emphasis area, if that retail was foregone in this stage because of the alternative compliance, that is something that you're still thinking more for phase 2 if, as far as that street level retail, assuming phase 2 comes about. And I know that's not a guarantee.
And we have a 20-foot setback off the sidewalk, so it would meet that, have an opportunity for any sort of outdoor use. But it would be right there on the corner. It would really, well, I shouldn't say for certain, but I would think it's going to be on the southeast corner of.
Okay. Okay, well then, as far as alternative compliance, I'm usually very skeptical for alternative compliance. I can say I think you've made a very strong case. I think the for the National Register and the requirements of that, and especially being that Bonham is where the consumer emphasis area is, not Merrimack. It's not like you can't alter that facade to place an entry to. So even if we had basically retail in this project, it wouldn't I don't know that it'd be serving the exact purpose that the consumer emphasis area has. So I personally am okay with the alternative compliance here. I will say something that is said, and this is maybe not necessarily for this project as much as anyone who might be listening. It does say in the staff report, staff recognize that this existing condition is different from conditions created by a new development. And I think that's very important for, others who might be paying attention or thinking about future projects. That I think the National Register is what locks a lot of this in. And if it wasn't for the National Register, I don't know if I would be as amenable to the alternative compliance, but given the way the circumstances are, I think I am.
One other thing that just, because the glass is so dark right now, retail really suffers when it's dark bronze glass. And we can't change that. That's what even makes it more of a.
I can say even,
adding to the.
and even with the tinting on some of the other buildings, I'll say just from personal experience, we went to go eat at Peel the other day. And my wife said, "Oh, it looks like they're closed." And it wasn't just the tinting on the building is so dark; it's hard to tell that there's even people in there. So I understand the problems that come with that.
Chris?
Yes. Oh,
The other Chris
The other
in the room.
Chris.
Just a couple of questions and just clarifications. And I don't know if this is within site plan or if we're straying over to architectural review, but when you spoke about the garage infill or not using those lower levels of those, how are you proposing to actually mothball those levels? And how permanent is the mothballing of that? Because I'm just foreseeing a situation where suddenly a tenant is having to use levels 3 and 4 or something that, yeah, we've got additional parking and they're down in there and then I guess what.
Code, we have to block everything off and you can't even have a full door. You have to have a hatch to go
Okay.
into those spaces. We will slightly ventilate them. We'll have smoke detectors and we'll have emergency lighting down there.
Okay, so they will be
But
closed
you
off
can't-
entirely.
Nobody's gonna be able to just say, yeah, they will park down here.
Okay,
We're building a wall with only a 4x4 access panel, so there's no door. You can't get in that area.
and then the uplighting that is called out for in the plan. I hadn't seen anything specific as to what that uplighting looks, and I know it's kind of Clayton is a beacon as it is, but in interest of any sort of like dark sky
We
interest.
can get you, because I think the note uplighting, there's a vertical light with a hood we want to light the flowers, not the sky.
Okay,
So we can certainly get you a cut sheet on that.
okay, just wondering about that.
Okay.
And then finally, I got really excited initially looking at the retail space on this because I thought this would be, I love the idea of a little wine bar or a little coffee shop. And I don't know if it really, the alternative compliance, I struggle with it because I don't think it really does fit. I don't think it meets the CEA requirement. What Jim did say about the constraints that are put on by the historical registry, I think does make me view it from a different lens. And also the fact that floor to ceiling glass, I think there's nothing less appealing than floor to ceiling glass and looking and seeing someone working behind a computer. I think, why do you have floor to ceiling glass? But in this case, you really can't see in. So it doesn't matter. The idea that either to be residential or revive capital development will bring customer visits and public engagement, it seems a bit of a stretch. I can't imagine that it's going to be a lot of foot traffic,
Yeah.
but I can't think of with the whole plaza level. I really can't think in the platform that any retail really would work other than a coffee shop or something that would primarily serve the tenants of the building. So I understand. And so weighing in my mind the balance between having this building that has sat empty for so long and would continue to sit empty, or potentially getting 2 retail spaces that maybe they'll bring some people, maybe they won't. I really don't have any issues with the alternative compliance at this stage too. So thank you for what you've done. I don't have an issue with the alley either. I think that I also have been walking around that area and looking to see. It's kind of a ghost town. Whether that will change with these units here and there will be more traffic is to be seen. But I don't see a real issue, particularly since you've added in kind of that turnaround space and the loading dock sort of area down there. So nothing further.
Blair? Any comments from the audience? Sally? Oh. See you.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Gunn, 329 North Beamiston Avenue. I just wanted to say that I am very, very supportive of this project because I am impressed with what they are doing with a building that has sat vacant for a really long time and has a lot of problems around it. And I'm just impressed based on the fact that they had a major project that didn't happen and then they stuck at it and they got the historic tax credit. So I'm appreciative of that. I'm also appreciative of the fact that they are committed to, I've been told 3 affordable units, which is, I'd like to see more, but I am happy that they are committed to 3 affordable units, even though they are not forced to do it. So I would like to thank them for that. And also, there was something else I was going to say. And the fact that we're going to have a residential building and it does not require the building of another parking garage. So those are 3 things that I think are just, hopefully that doesn't get lost in the shuffle with alley vacations and, floor to ceiling glass and that kind of stuff. That's it. Thank you. Bye.
Sally?
Sally Cohn, and I agree with everything. I'm so glad to see this beautiful building being sparkled up again. I'm real happy about that. I'm wondering if that alley does shift over, what happens to the alley to the west? Does that mean that the property back there, when it's developed, that there will be a jog in the alley? I'm not sure what goes on with that. And does the turnaround space for loading and unloading at the loading dock, how does that change? Should that western parking lot go under construction? So I don't, am I making?
We did have a drawing up here, and the relocated alley will not align directly with the western portion.
Correct.
Kent? But because you have one coming like this and one like that, there's a much larger
Intersection?
now.
Okay.
Which I think will actually help that very tight loading dock.
And that intersection will stay that size?
Tight. The
Okay.
loading dock stays, but the paved area in front of it is about twice as large.
Yeah, there's a large, basic area between all the buildings back there.
Yeah, okay.
We can go
Okay. Well, thank you. That makes sense.
It's on the civil. There's a Google shot on civil.
Is there?
That makes sense. Thank you.
No, thanks, Chris. I forgot.
And I also, I think Helen had a good point about what I'm seeing as the loss of the symmetry that you all talked so much about up there. You come up these stairs and all of a sudden it's cut off. And I think you're doing that in order to make private outdoor space for the residents. And I'm wondering if there's any available space on the roof for resident amenities, or can you cantilever out over that really large parking lot or a new alley and put barbecue pits or something out there at a level? I really hate to, I don't know what those little squares are, but are they planters in
Those are tree planters. Yeah, they're
in the middle of the big? And you have to keep those in existence, right? And so you've got
those are not there.
those little, those little,
Currently, there's 2 flagpoles that are in that clouded area.
what, in the middle of right in front of the doorway into the building, those 4? What
Those
are,
are trees. Yeah, those are going to be tree planters. So fairly larger trees that.
and then you've got the fence right up to them. Yes, so it's that lack of symmetry again that's jarring to me as well. And you have to keep those planters there, right? Because they're original to the design.
No, they're not original to the design.
Oh, you're adding those.
Them just to bring some greenery and to this. It's a very
I know, there's a lot of
Everything's
concrete. There's a ton of concrete, I know.
Let us take a look at that, at that fence. Again, it's one thing if it's gonna be a pool, because they have to be 6 feet tall. If it's just a fountain, then they only have to be 4 feet tall. But the configuration of it, we'll look at how we can adjust that just to relax that jarring issue that.
Right, because there's no more symmetry, even with those 4 new trees. Maybe they go inside, they shift
They
over,
haven't gone
I'm not
column.
sure.
They're heavy,
So
so they
they're
have to sit on a structural,
Uh-huh.
you picked up by
Okay.
the
Okay,
structure below. That's why they're there.
okay.
But also to kind of get that promenade going up, so the
Right.
entrance is clear for the residents coming in.
Right.
Because everything else is locked, everything to the left would be locked, and we're trying to create some space there's not a lot of space, frankly, for any sunning or outdoor seating. And so we were just trying to get
What
that.
is on the roof?
It's filled with a lot of mechanical equipment right now,
Yeah.
all mechanical up there,
The entire.
yeah. And we
floor-
cannot change, the whole,
Right,
yeah.
right, okay. Okay.
If you look on Google Earth, the roof is really covered
cluttered.
with mechanicals.
Yes,
It's all
yeah.
cluttered.
And it's old fashioned big stuff. And we gotta we gotta heat
Bring
and cool our building
new
too,
stuff.
so we gotta bring
Yeah.
new stuff in. Yeah,
And it'll be smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
but it all has to be out of visual sight. We're not building any other screen. Like shoehorning everything
Yeah.
in there.
Are you able to actually cantilever off the building to, on a historic structure?
Well,
Maybe on the
perhaps not
side
on
or the
the
back?
alley side, like
Oh.
you said, I mean, we are doing that with the ADA.
Right, oh, that's.
We're not
good.
cantilevering it, but it's,
Right,
it's a separate
Okay.
structure, but attach it. They've
Well,
approved it,
just-
Park Service.
Following up on what Sally said and Helen said, have you looked at the front fencing? Maybe instead of coming so far out that maybe it steps back in like 3 steps. So it's a little more gentle coming up the wide steps into the entry.
Let's talk about where you're talking. You want to go to the rendering or to the plan?
Basically,
But go to the plan.
he's
Okay.
talking about that.
Yeah, see where it comes north and south from the big black area, and then it turns and goes west. What if it came out a little bit and then it stepped back?
Well, that's what I was
In
just
3
saying. I
steps.
think we would, I mean, we'll look at a curve. But I think if it's something that actually steps back and in versus, right now, again, it's about 10 feet back. We could probably end up with 15. No, 15's from here to you almost. From here. And it's see-through. It's not a solid fence.
Claire?
Sorry, I didn't know if I could ask questions anymore. I mean, I would, sorry. In hearing that would be could potentially be a pool or hangout, I mean, as a resident, I would want that to almost be a green screen or something, on the side so that it is private, so that you do have that privacy opposed to just the metal fence.
And that's kind of the dichotomy between the public realm area and public versus so it's a great point. Now, that's the fence you were talking about, Steve? Is that the fence you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. I didn't know if it was the ones around the planters, the linear planters.
No.
Okay.
Just another point, wouldn't some of this, I think a lot of this might hinge on the fact of whether it ends up being a pool or not, because I think if it, I know the original intent was a pool, and I get the sense, and I could be wrong, that you guys would ideally like it to be a pool from an amenity standpoint and just marketing the building. If it is a pool, having that space is a little more necessary to have lounging area by the pool. If through this process, it ends up only being a fountain, perhaps you don't need quite as much space to that side of the fountain, and that changes some of this. So
That's true.
I don't know if, I don't know how we could add maybe something into the language where like staff can review that part of it later or something like that, because we don't have the information of whether the Parks Department will allow it to be a pool or not. So, or just have that thought be out there that, maybe there's more space available if it doesn't end up being able to be a pool. Because then I don't think I have a feeling if it's not a pool, that we don't have this kind of point of contention.
So just so everybody knows, I mean, we made this decision about 2 weeks ago to go into National Park Service to see if we could modify the fountain for the pool. I think the chances of making it happen are less than 50%. So it's more than likely going to be a fountain. But yeah, we'd love for it to be a pool. The residents, I think, are the ones that really want for it to be a pool. And we've looked at there's just no other place for it, where it could go. Now, we can look at the configuration of the fence, so we relax that concern that's been raised. We'll happily do that.
Okay. Other comments?
I know there's a hand up online, but just as you consider the fence and thinking about the symmetry of it, if it were to if it ends up being a pool, which would be nice, if it were to follow the symmetry of the bed on the other side, in the sense that it was curved, it's hard to say, but.
Yeah.
Following this, and you're slightly curving up there, at least you've got some sort of symmetry, if possible, if you're investigating a curved fence. But I understand the logistics too. I mean, you have a flat bar fence that you have to work with and flat up top, so that's.
We'll take a look. We'll look at some options.
Too quick.
Looked at a lot so far for many years.
Yeah, long time. Susan?
Two quick things. First of all, thank you for bringing up dark sky compliance and your commitment to to have those hooded, even though it says the uplight. Secondly, in a prior conversation, there was discussion that you intended to develop the property next door, at least temporarily, until you develop it into an accessible park. Is that still what you're planning to do? Green space for,
Yeah.
not with playground structures and all that, but open green space.
A grassy area like it is now.
Okay.
Now, what we are talking about doing is the first 10 feet, slope breaks off there. We're going to do some extra planning and maybe even some arborvitae or something to really kind of screen. So the dogs and everything that are behind it. And so there's kind of some park benches, and it would be an interim solution until that property develops. We showed that the last go round. And the owner we were talking today, and he said he still wants to do that. That would just be that area. Can you? I think you have to get rid of that.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you.
Yeah, and I think the only reason that was taken off was more technicality than anything, because we had the alley moving and then it was technically a second property. Now that could be resolved by the end of this, because this all could be combined into one lot and stuff, but that was.
Yeah, there's a few moving parts. I agree.
If that vacant land where I think I saw it labeled as a dog park on one of the drawings, will the property owner commit to maintaining it? I mean, if it really is.
It's being used as a dog park. Most everybody we talk to who knows the property knows it because they take their dogs there.
Yeah.
So they are maintaining, yes, the answer is of course, because we have residents now living there, we got to maintain it, not only for them, but for the neighborhood.
We do have a hand up online. Scott, do you hear us? Oh, you're muted.
I hear you now. Hi, this is Scott Schweizer of 708 Audubon Drive. Confirm you can hear me now?
Yes.
Is anybody able to hear me? Oh, good. Well, it's great to see this project moving forward. Just a quick question on the fencing, or the new fencing around the decking that we've all been talking about. With respect to the historic tax credits, I know it was mentioned that the fencing was designed to be in line with the smaller amounts of metal railing that's there. I'm just questioning whether there's any leeway with the Park Service on that, and whether, to the extent that the fencing is considered temporary and for kind of a different purpose from some of the existing railing. Some of the existing railing doesn't even necessarily look original, like the mismatched railing going up the steps. So I'm just wondering if it's possible to have another material for the railing, to the extent that the fence can be considered something separate from the railing in terms of historic tax credits, and possibly allow a different material. It might help with the symmetry issues talked about walking into a fence up the steps, and also in terms of the consumer emphasis area, the CEA, it might just having some sort a fence that's maybe less extreme would kind of bring the sidewalk and the streetscape more into the property than feeling it's really fenced off with a big metal structure. So that was just my question, whether there's any leeway at all with the historic tax credits, considering a fence is considered temporary and also could be considered a different use from the smaller railings that are there, that are trying to that the architects are trying to match.
Yeah, when we got our first approval, they wanted to see the materials and how we handled the ramp, how we handled the pool fountain conversion, and how we handled all the railings. And they were very clear about all the railings, and I'm talking guardrails now, had to match. The fence could be considered temporary. I think, frankly, the guardrails and they're like 1.25 inch bar, every 4 inches now instead of every 6 inches. And then the top rail is a flat bar as well. They're pretty elegant. I think if we can certainly look at the fence and consider it being temporary. We just need to think about the materiality and profile and how it matches everything else, and introducing one more thing onto the plaza. So maybe there are some options we can look at. But at the end of the day, we still have to make sure that that NPS approves it.
Will that fencing have to match an original fence material?
Profiles that will.
Profile, yes.
Profiles
What about the material?
Yeah, it's steel. Now, they make some aluminum fences that match all the profiles.
Will they allow the aluminum?
Yeah, as long as the profiles all match it.
Yeah. Part of the process, of the historical process, as Chris mentioned, there's no documentation of this building. So we have to document it this is our as-is condition. So anything on place, on property, or anything in that nature, we have to come in and match those profiles, colors, things in that nature. Start trying to change profiles and go bigger mullions or bigger railings and top railings, they'll basically reject us right from there. So we have to follow that compliance from their standpoint. Earlier, we were allowed to basically increase heights of guardrails, things like that, to meet code. That they understand, but we have to follow that same design concept and design.
Any other comments? I have just a few, of course. I had two main problems before tonight in reading everything. One of them was the alley, but I feel much better about it now. I think the configuration, seeing it on the square block context, it seemed to answer many questions. Not so crazy about the electrical items going into the current alley, but I don't see any other option for it. The second one was the consumer emphasis area requirements and the alternative compliance. Chris, you may remember that up until the pandemic, we had a series of retail and restaurants on South Merrimack, mainly at the next corner north. None of them ever lasted. Merrimack is not really a walkable street. Having the county justice center directly across the street really kills activity on that street. And the fact that the 1,100, 1,200 square feet is not on the street only makes it worse.
Right.
To top that off, retail has really died for the time being. We'd like to see it come back. But for all that reason, I think I would support the alternative compliance where, or I was really against it. And I think that's a very difficult decision for this board to make.
I completely understand. Yeah.
And I'm sure we may have some of our members that disagree with me, but
Yeah.
it's just my.
Interestingly enough, and not to delay things or extend them, even when we did Forsyth Point, the retailer said, I want all that stuff pulled right out on the sidewalk. And we said, there's just no way we can kind of, and it's worked. I think everybody likes, now that they've seen it and it works. But anything more than 15 feet off the sidewalk is really, unless it's just the best coffee bar or wine bar and everybody's going there, it's a destination.
Well, here, you're not only far away, but you're also higher than the walkable street. So it's all working against retail in that location. If you can make it work, I'm sure we'd love to see it.
I think someday it will, as long as we provide the flexibility that it can happen. Don't provide no flexibility so it cannot happen,
Right.
So, yeah.
Did we have any other hands up? Okay. Well, before we take a vote, I'd like to thank Sally Cohn and Kathleen Gunn, I guess she left, and Scott Sweeser also for their comments. We appreciate the citizens coming out and speaking. So,
Steve, before I wanted to address Jim's comment from earlier with related to the write in, write out. And Chris's, I think modifying the condition to allow the applicant to work with public works staff to monitor what is necessary for the two different access points. I wouldn't really feel comfortable with us. That's a professional decision from their evaluation that's recommended, but I recognize they could have been meaning one versus the other. So I would recommend just deferring that over to be something that they'll work out directly with Public Works.
Anyone have any further question on that? Okay, I think we have multiple staff recommendations, which I'm sure you've read and you're nodding your head.
Yeah.
So, do you have any issues with any of those?
I'm nodding my head like I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
I'm looking for agreement.
Okay.
Yeah. There, I think we're down to like maybe 5. I'm talking about the first list. I just want to make sure.
So the only one that we recommended that you didn't necessarily need was that one related to cycling, and then Anna suggested the revision to the other ones. The other conditions would remain in place.
So it's number 3.
So we'll just go over these again. So number 1 was that the streetscape plan is to be approved by the Public Works Department prior to commencing installation activities. 2, impacts of sidewalk closures and temporary pedestrian path requirements shall be evaluated by Public Works prior to issuance of a building permit. 3, vehicle access to the podium garage level shall be limited to right in, right out only per the recommendation of Public Works. So that's the one Anna talked about modifying. And then occupancy of the commercial tenant space shall be achieved within 6 months of approval of the residential occupancy for the development. 5, both commercial tenant spaces shall have primary entrances to the building exterior. So that one has been clarified as well. And then both commercial spaces shall install signage compliant with Chapter 425 within 1 month of commercial occupancy. 7, a parking agreement providing access to a minimum of 80 spaces located within 500 feet walking distance of the property shall be maintained for the life of the project. Then 8 was the bike one that is no longer needed.
Now I see
Yeah,
agreement.
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
I'm
Yeah.
hearing and agreeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, ready.
Okay, I move to approve with the staff recommendations and working with the staff to resolve the fencing as you come up the steps, the monumental steps.
Second. Nope.
Oh,
I recommend it.
also to modify staff recommendation 3, that the vehicle access to the podium garage level nearest Merrimack shall be right in and right out only.
Not us.
Okay, Public Works to determine right in, right out.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're not done.
I know.
Okay, we will move on now to architectural review. And again, we'll start with the staff report.
Okay, this is. Building comprises a combination of tan brick, aggregate panels, and metal. These materials would be restored. Windows would be replaced with new insulated glass. New metal fencing and railings would be installed around the perimeter of the podium and bisecting the podium between public and private spaces. Landscaping will replace concrete and utility infrastructure along Bonham. Existing planter beds along the podium and along Merrimack will see new plantings. A new ADA compliant ramp would be installed on the north side of the podium. City standard streetscape would be installed along the limits along Bonham and South Merrimack. Staff are of the opinion that the proposed changes are likely to have a minimal visual impact and recommend approval as submitted.
Okay.
This is our side.
Okay.
Yes.
Why don't you go to the beginning? We'll just. Well, everybody's very well aware now of where the building is and the existing conditions and how we're addressing them, but we'll just go through kind of context and so everybody appreciates what's there right now and then how we're addressing sort of enhancements and improvements to the building to still meet the National Park Service and SHPO's requirements. SHPO's the state historic folks. Okay, go ahead. We can. I think you can all kind of read these. I think unless somebody wants to stop us, but I think you really get on the upper left-hand corner here, you really get the sense of what the court's parking garage has done to South Merrimack. And so it's really pretty, if anybody's going to walk anywhere, it's the shortest route, but they're going to be on the west side of Merrimack versus the east. Go. So this is
I can zoom
proposed,
in.
okay,
Yeah.
proposed on the left. So
Yeah.
we've just cleaned everything up, added the planting, and enhanced, these trees existing trees that are at the corner of Merrimack and Bonham, are really on their last leg. And so those are being removed and new plantings are being put in, especially to deal with all the view corridors, view triangles that we have to maintain. All the copper that's out there, is getting cleaned and refurbished, repaired, but we're keeping the color we're not changing the color. We're keeping the patina. Everything is going to look very, very much the same as it is now. Structure is newer, repaired. In good shape. All the planting beds have been rebuilt. The ones down below have been rebuilt. The garage doors, this is kind of interesting. They have to match exactly what's there. So the door that's furthest to the west has got a big exterior roll up on it. We have to replace the door like that. That's what National Park Service requires. So you'll see the same door, it'll just be new. It'll look the same, it'll just be new. Go ahead to the next.
One question just on that, the rendering.
Yes,
I'm seeing that the brick color is different. Is that just,
cleaning,
okay,
cleaning and Photoshop.
okay.
So, but we can't, yeah, we can't change. And then you can see on the right, everything's boarded up, on the storefront, but the glass has been added back in on the left that you see that we've talked about earlier. That kind of archy element that's in between the grand stair going into the building, that's just going to get cleaned, and because it is what it is. Existing. I think this just shows you the parking garage, to the left, the city garage that we're going to take 80 spaces from, and how we connect into it, and the elevator and the steps that are there.
Where is the connection?
The connection to the garage is on basically the first level into this vestibule here.
And it exists there, it exists there currently. Ever since the garage was built, that connection has been there, because that garage was really built for this building in large part, and Clayton on the Park. Yeah, keep going.
Good title. Here's the overall plan of the second level of the garage. There's, as we mentioned previously, there's 2 other levels below it. We're basically walling it off at this location here to prevent pedestrians and residents to go into that level. To the right is first level as you enter on the east side of the property, as there's the 32 parking spaces there.
The green space up there is all common space for the residents. There's a game room, and some meeting rooms, some storage, bicycle storage you can see there. But yeah, that's tennis storage. To the left is the bike storage. They can come in through the loading dock or through off the alley. And we have a dog wash area, right there. So a few elements down there, and then all back of the house, shop kind of space in the blue, or electrical or trash.
And then as we come up, this is the plaza plan that you've seen before. This, I guess we want color or the correct name of it, but these are the retail spaces that we've been talking about. The yellow spaces are the resident apartments on this first level, and the green spaces are the amenity spaces. One will be a fitness area, and then this area at the front, excuse me, will be more of a club room kind of activity space, so a group meeting. As we talked previously, we talked about the fountain, and then on the south side is where we've talked about having the barbecue grills and covers and some soft seating areas. And then as
Fire pits, we have fire pits out there, and yeah. Don't do much along the west side, because units look out to there. The fitness center will have some outdoor activity there. And I think just looking, I think we've gone through the plans before. They're pretty self-explanatory. What you see on the one on the right with the yellow is floors 2 through 10, and then level 11 is the penthouse floor. It has an existing step back area that will have doors. The existing doors are there. They have to remain where they are, and they will have access out to that space. We're putting a 42-inch guardrail. Right now, there's a 36-inch guardrail there, so we're putting a 42. We're going to put a 48 in around that perimeter. And the next one, you're starting to see all the mechanical units that are sitting up there within the confines of the existing screen wall of the.
How wide is that 11th floor balcony all the way around?
It's really shallow. It's no more than about 40 inches. So it's again, we can't change it, but because working with our code consultant, and because it's being called the 11th floor existing condition, people will be able to step out there, but it's like, and, but at least have the fresh air. That's the whole idea.
So those doors would open
Yes.
on levels 2 through 10 while we're looking at it. What are the sizes of those units, square footage wise?
We've got some studios that are in the 560 range. We've got 2 bedrooms that are right at around 1150. 11. So we have 12 units. So we've got the mix 2B has provided us with the mix. And obviously we have existing conditions we got to deal with, but that's what we're able to get in there. You know, some small ones that, again, are the studio types, but we got more 1 bedrooms and fulls, and then 2.
And I may have to ask the staff, do we have a minimum size for a rentable unit? What about, I think there are some bedrooms that look like they do not have a window. Sorry, didn't mean to break in.
All right, that's okay.
That's pretty typical design on a studio. Green space is more on the glass.
If you want, we can get into them. If you want to get into
Yeah.
the unit design, like that one, that's your point. That's one of the convertibles.
Steve, I feel like there is a minimal requirement, and that's what the market will bear. I mean, in a way, if someone is willing to pay for 500 square feet without a window, and if that you've just identified that there are people willing to do that, then that's the
Well, they all
minimum.
have a window somewhere in the unit.
Hopefully, yeah.
There's very, I'm trying to,
There's
there's a unit there that's a convertible that has the open wall. So it has access to the window.
typical studio, and this is your convertible, as you mentioned.
And we were gonna leave them open, and then B2 said, no, a wall there, we want them to feel like it's a 1-bedroom. So that was really driven by a market-driven directive. Okay. What you're seeing is just, there's a lot of railings.
Yeah.
That's all those dark areas,
Yeah.
obviously. And then when up on the penthouse, you see some openings that have gone into those, but those are gonna have screens in front of them. So you're still gonna have that feeling of the complete penthouse, the metal cladding that's on the penthouse.
As we mentioned, all the existing windows are staying.
What about the windows?
All new.
Glazing.
Yeah, there, right now it's all single glazed on the punched openings. So we're gonna have dual glazed. Everything on 11 and on 1 is already dual glazed, so we're replacing some pieces, but leaving a lot of it, since it's double glazed and functioning properly.
Image is just representation of the building section. As level is these two blocking out. Garage, this is the level. Color is based on, as you've seen, of your back of house amenity spaces. Tower from this level 1 basic plaza area, as you can kind of see the differences between grade from the the street, and then the different, the size of the garage as well. Okay, plan, we
yeah.
already talked about.
Go through.
Yeah, we've already, and then this represents,
This kind of precedent imagery of going to mid-century modern. And the feel will definitely get in the common, most of the common areas, some of the penthouse units. And then we're just getting started on really finalizing materials and finishes in the house. But the feel is more like you're seeing on this board and the next one. And there is, it's really interesting. Our owner has said that we're going to be under the market from the standpoint of cost and rent, but also providing something that isn't just the sameness that we tend to be seeing over and over in so many of the multifamily that are in this similar kind of market. So, we know we don't have a lot of glass in our exterior walls. We got to make sure that our common areas, our amenities, our corridors, our elevators, our units, are distinct from much of what else is has been developed in the whole region, really, but definitely in the more urban areas.
Well, it's, although we're not really deciding anything, but we appreciate seeing hopefully what the finishes and the materials will be. And I think that helps me understand the Post-Dispatch article from last week, where it did state that the KC developer calls for 118 luxury apartments at the vacant office building. I wasn't sure how you would do it, but I think the finishes and the materials can go a long way.
And also having 12 units per floor, your on-floor community is much smaller. You're not running into so many people. The noise issues are less, and the disturbance issues are less. The trash area, the chute is located right next to the elevators. There are some existing shaftways there that we were able to use. And, thinking about all those kind of things are people don't always think about when they're moving in, and they all see a nice, bright, but when it comes down to really living there, how do you live? So that's what's important, not only on the plaza and the amenity areas, but all the common areas inside as well.
Did I read the plans correctly that there are 2 exit stairs?
There's
sort of the intertwined ones in the same shaft?
They're not in the same shaft. They're in 2 separate distinct
They are?
shafts. They're very separated. They're not what's termed a scissor stair. So it looks, there's a center wall in between the stairs, Steve.
Oh,
So it's 2 stairs that just are interlocked like DNA.
I took that old previous image out because
Yeah.
it was more geared towards.
All right.
Goods. So with this side, let's just say you come in on this side, you basically, on the right-hand side, you'll go up, and left-hand side, you go down. This is separated. Then on the other side, you'll go down, and then you'll go up. There's basically the wall is a 6-inch wall that sits there in place, and then the floor. There are 2 separate stairs.
Yeah, it's existing condition, and they're all poured in place concrete. CMU around the elevator shafts. We're adding some steel in here. I think we mentioned that to bring our seismic bracing up to meet code. So that's occurring, and it's hard to see on this plan. Well, you can see it over on the plan on the right, the double wall up in the right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of an L there.
There's
And then another, then just come down and another L there. And those go down to grade level, and then we're just doing some reinforcing of columns down through the parking levels.
It's great because it used to be the 10th floor, you could feel the building moving.
Right, yes. I think that was,
That was
we had
the last
the
one.
materials, yeah.
Correct. The last
Right.
images. Two renderings put together.
No, I guess in closing on this part, when you first look at the building and the I say, man, that's just kind of an old fashioned building, but if you really think about cleaning it up and taking the materiality, but also saving the building and then taking this whole mid-century modern approach, I think the building is gonna end up being a star. It may not be the shiniest star in the city, but I think the fact of what it was and just think about the energy, you know, we're not tearing it down, we're saving the building, all that concrete, all that construction activity. And so you got all the bones that are there. Now we just gotta use the same wrapper on the exterior, but it's what happens inside, like life in so many ways. What's gonna really be important, how you make people feel.
We've lost a lot of our mid-century buildings in Clayton.
Yes.
And it's good to see that we're keeping this one instead of leveling it and putting something new up.
Yes, for sure. And the historic things brings another element to it, but not everybody's going to be able to get a historic designation. So how that all gets approached in these kind of meetings and with the developers and architects and all that solve it, you know, is going to be, because a lot of the mid-century buildings that do exist here right now are a lot closer to the street. Nobody has this big plaza like this. Pierre Leclerc's got a fairly sizable plaza, right? But not as deep as this.
I think this plaza, percentage-wise, is larger than what Pierre Leclerc has.
Yes.
Percentage-wise.
Right.
Of the site.
Yeah.
Other comments?
All of my questions have been answered. So thank you.
Susan?
Nothing more. I look forward to seeing this go forward.
Jim?
I think the historic designation makes it pretty easy because what's there now is what it's going to look like afterwards. So I can't really come up with anything to ask.
Chris?
Nothing further. Thank you for all the explanation.
Claire?
Nothing further. I'm very excited about the project. Thank you.
Allie?
I would just, okay, sorry. I would just love to see more trees, especially around that fountain area, which you're hopeful of bringing the residents out to. It will help give them coverage. And there are trees there now, and I don't know if those are yews or boxwoods or whatever that green is. They tend to be destroyed by the dog urine. And unless you put some sort of elevation and then plant them in there, they just end up they don't make it. So
Yeah.
anyway.
There's no trees in there now. There were.
Well, but there are trees, are those street trees that
Oh,
are,
in
you're
the
gonna
corner,
go back?
I thought you meant in the plant.
No,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
corner. Yeah, just bank it in
Right.
and nobody will see that fountain area.
Mhm.
So anyway, I'm excited what you're doing.
I assume there's no one else online. Okay. Well, we have a staff recommendation to approve as submitted.
I move to approve as submitted.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We've got one more to do,
All right.
but I think we've probably talked about it also. So.
Yes. Yeah.
But we'll start with the staff report.
Okay.
Since we've covered a lot of it, I'll just kind of skip straight to the point. The applicant has provided the alley vacation documents and the subdivision plat dedicating for the new alley. The plat to consolidate the vacated alley with the lot to the south is still outstanding. And so staff are recommending that it be continued to the next meeting date to allow the applicant to provide that updated consolidation plat.
Comments on that?
We did in meets and bounds. We're missing, what's asked for the.
Yeah, I saw that you guys submitted that updated legal description, so let me clarify, go to the other one here.
Yeah, we
So this is the page that shows the alley being vacated, and then we have a page here that shows the new alley being dedicated, but there's not actually a page or updated description that shows that this vacated space will be added to the existing lot.
Okay,
Oh.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
So is that basically a note? Note that gets added?
You would provide a similar page like this showing that the new consolidated lot.
Okay.
Okay.
So we need a new consolidated. Okay.
Ryan, I have a question. You said you would want that continued to a future meeting. Is that something that you feel would need to be moved to a future meeting, or is that something that could be staff approved, since it seems like it's pretty much a technicality? If we were okay with that.
Yeah, so the plat will require council approval either way. So if you're comfortable with them adding, because their surveyor, their engineer whoever drew the plat, they could add a the property description of the same plat, or they could provide a second plat sheet, and that's up to you guys and your surveyor. So if you're comfortable with them, as long as you can do a condition of approval, the council will have to sign off on anything before we can formally approve it. So you could make a recommendation to move it to the council with a condition that they provide the corrected draft plat.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that.
You comfortable with that, Jim?
All right.
I'd be more comfortable with that than delaying it 2 weeks.
I agree. Okay. Any other comments? No.
Okay, I move to allow the applicant to submit the necessary plat to the staff and then to the city council.
So to clarify, are you recommending that you recommend approval of the plat to the council with the condition that the revised plat showing the consolidation of the vacated alley is provided prior to the council meeting?
Yes.
Exactly. Second.
Can you repeat that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Well, thank you for coming back, putting up with us.
I hope this is, I don't mean it to be the last time, but we've been here quite a few times before, not on just this solution, but the previous ones.
I think it's the third go around, isn't it?
Easily, maybe
At
I'm
least.
counting for,
Four?
yeah. At least we had a preliminary
Yes,
on
we did.
one, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Steve, a point of procedure. I don't think we had a second on that motion that we just did.
Yeah, I did.
Who's the-
Second.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. We look forward to it going forward.
Wow. And we really appreciate Anna and Ryan. They had some interesting moments with us, but I think we got there. So thanks, guys, very much.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, we've come to the end. Blair, do you have any comments? You're going to come back? Okay. No. Sometimes they're much longer. Chris?
Welcome, Blair. Glad you're here.
Chris, was that it? No. Jim?
Welcome, Blair. And also if the schedule sticks, I think the way is that the next one probably will be longer.
Welcome. Just really quickly, I was able to attend the climate summit, at least part of it that was last week, put on by One St. Louis. And a lot of the things talked about, the importance of green landscaping and the overall, a lot of things that our great staff has pulled together to have Clayton kind of leading in that, and how solar increasingly is taking over, and EV chargers and vehicles, at least worldwide, are overtaking gas, whether we catch up or not and get our utility grids in order is a challenge before us, but it was a really good summit.
Good. Helen?
Welcome, Blair.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone, and thanks to our staff especially for guiding us through with quality statements and hopefully lessening our concerns. So we appreciate it. Anything further, Ryan?
Nothing further.
Anna? Stephanie? Not much for you tonight. Good, made it easy. Okay, we'll see everyone on the 17th, and we're adjourned.